Chuck, did you want my chair? Way over there.
Thank you.
He's not serving in official capacity yet. Okay, I'm going to call to order the meeting for the Schenectady Urban Renewal Agency, and I'm looking for an acceptance of the minutes for December 19th, 2016, moved by Ms. Zaluski-Wilzunas, seconded by Mr. Kosher. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have one item of business this evening, and that is a resolution to transfer lot number 39.79-2-30.1 to the city of Schenectady. So, are there any questions?
Where is this? Yes.
Comments?
Off Van Geisling. It doesn't actually have an address.
It's just an empty lot. What are we doing with it? Buildable, not buildable?
It's the remediation that's been going on behind on Van Geisling there.
All right. My goodness.
Moved by Mr. Motivera, seconded by Ms. Zaluski-Wilzunas. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the Schenectady Urban Renewal Agency this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, by Mr. Kosher, seconded by Ms. Zaluski-Wilzunas. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. 5:31. I actually broke into another time zone.
Nice job.
Oh, I'll get it. Okay, I'm going to call the Finance Committee to order. And our first item is the 2017 budget amendment regarding the Affirmative Action Officer. And Mayor McCarthy is out of town this evening, so I will defer to Mr. Frank.
So the proposal is to use $23,000 of CDBG funding to raise the total salary to $70,000. What this does is it takes into account the increase in qualifications and experience requesting. We changed the previous requirements from an associate's degree and 1 year experience to a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 5, and again, that's also minimum. The new specification was written in conjunction with, we passed on to the Affirmative Action Advisory Board, and this reflects the request that came out of the 2017 budget process, as well as the continuing discussions of the board. This calls for an integrated involvement with several different departments. It's involved with law and training. It's involved with human resources and continuing hiring. We're looking for a greater involvement in purchasing and procurement. So we're looking for somebody that has the ability to have a full understanding of the governmental procurement process and also make sure that we're meeting our goals, as well as taking into account state goals, as well as taking into account federal goals. And the position also has a important role in our reporting requirements. So we have both our internal reporting requirements and our internal plan, as well as working with our federal goals, as well as working with our different agencies that we award contracts to make sure that they're supplying the right documentation that we need.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frank, I did not get the job description. Did you bring it?
It was in everybody's box.
Oh, mailbox. Yeah, I did get it. I just didn't look through what was in the mail. Thank you. Questions? I'm sorry. Questions?
So I guess I'll start. This $70,000, does that include benefits? And if not, what's our cost on the benefits side of this as well, which probably should be included in this item, correct?
No, because the $47,000 that you already set aside included the benefits for that portion, and this doesn't change what the benefits portion would be because your benefits aren't broken out by line, they're broken out by the total. So the benefits vary depending on what exactly the person gets for their health coverage and everything, but it's around 66%, give or take. Correct. That would be included with what we would get out of CDBG on the $23,000 CDBG eligible funds. So there'd be no additional hit to the general fund.
So bottom line is their true salary is not going to be $70,000, correct? It's going to be less the benefits package?
No.
The health benefits?
No, their salary would be the $70,000, and then they would get the additional benefits.
Plus the benefits. Okay. Second of all, so we're currently, are we under a contract now with the county right now with our current affirmative action officer? And if so, when does that expire? And if we're going to do this before it expires, will the county reimburse us, or haven't we paid the county yet?
The county is still in the
that
process of
position.
contracting, so we don't have the documentation back, I don't believe, currently.
All right, so we're looking to hire this position soon, obviously, right?
Once it's approved by the council, then it would be a 14-day posting process.
All right, so again, back to my so would the county then reimburse us for the time that we're not using Miriam Kajewski? Because that runs through June 30th, correct?
The county wouldn't have to reimburse us anything because we haven't paid them anything for that period.
That's the one, okay. Very good.
I also think we looked at that when we were going through the budget, and we pay the county by month so that we could exit out of that. Am I remembering correctly, Mr. Faltico? Do you remember, or Ms. Mancini, the CDBG agreement with the county?
Yeah.
Is it by month?
It's by quarter.
By quarter?
Yeah. I mean, we could do it by month.
Okay.
But the current agreement, ended the end of this past year. And then we have the option to continue going for a half. So, and we agreed in the contract, we haven't paid them anything yet. We paid 100%.
But if we use 1 month out of quarterly payment, we could just pay them 1 month. We're not required to pay them the entire quarter. Just wanted to make sure everybody understood.
So is work being performed now beyond, above and beyond with the contract? Okay.
Mr. Missouri.
So we're just moving funds from the finance department to cover for the affirmative action officer. We don't longer need this funding in the finance department to cover the salaries.
No, this isn't, it's not moving any money within the general fund. This is taking $23,000 of what was already allocated within the CDBG plan and putting it towards affirmative action, so for the position. So it would raise the overall position to the $70,000 salary. What was set aside in the 2017 budget was $47,000. So it's additional funding without changing anything in the general fund.
Other questions? I know that we've passed around a bunch of information about salary medians across New York State. One was for an affirmative action officer, one was for a manager. It seems to me personally that in accordance with how the job description has been updated, that clearly, although the title is an officer, it's not comparing to some of the officers' duties that were reviewed online. And also, I feel like to attract someone who has experience in this area and who has the education needed to really make this an effective program. I think it's somewhere that the city can do better and has had the desire to do better for some time. And I think, making that investment is an important thing. And I think along with that, we need to measure and monitor results. Because this is a significant salary to pay. I think that the salary we initially proposed was our best guess at the time as a placeholder. But this is quite a charge, I think. And this person needs to act independently and proactively and come up with creative ideas and approaches. And I don't mind investing the money, but I also be watching to make sure we're getting return on our investment. Mr. Crozier?
Yeah, and again, just to follow up your statement as well, I think it's, and I commend the council and the mayor for moving forward on this position. It was something that the Affirmative Action Advisory Panel came to us before a council meeting and had some recommendations to us, and this by far was their top priority or goal, was for the city to have their own affirmative action officer, and I think it's very important that we support their cause and give them whatever staffing and resources that we can offer to them. And again, I think the $70,000 figure, I think, will bring us a good candidate, which I think is important. We need good people here to be here and to support not only our staff, but again, their commitment to affirmative action in the city, and of course, hopefully work with the county, Marion Kajewski as well. I think that's another big piece that we have to have partnership on both ends, not just the city working by itself. So I hope for the council to support this and move forward on it.
So
Ms. Lucy Lagos.
I agree with everything, but I'm very appreciative of actually seeing what the duties are. So that was extremely helpful in helping to, I think, solidify exactly what's necessary for the city. And I'm very appreciative of having this to review before the meeting. So thank you.
Other questions, comments? Have a motion? I'm sorry, Mr. Mutavarans?
I would like to move it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Mutavarans, seconded by Ms. Linsky Godzinez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there any other business to come before the Finance Committee this evening?
Just one, is it possible that we can get the year-end actual for 2016? By any chance? A copy of the actual?
The report or the expenditure in the line? I'm just confused, I apologize.
The complete expenditure budget line with expenditure to see where we are.
The position would be new to 17. The only thing we'd be able to give you is once we pay the county for 16. We'd be
talk
able
I
to-
think we're talking about the budget.
Talking about the
I'm not
overall
sure.
budget.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Curtis, Mr. Eatman, have you, I assume we still have expenditures and revenues coming in for 2016?
Yes,
Okay. And when do we expect the year to close out?
we're currently within our closeout process, and so hopefully we might be able to have something by the end of January. When our commissioner Anthony Barty comes back, I will make sure that he addresses that.
Can you please?
Yes.
In January, we'll be fine.
Okay.
I also think, Mr. Eatman, if you would come up here, just so people can see you on TV, because you're going to be a superstar. I think it would also behoove, I know that I receive monthly reports.
Yes.
But I think for the council to receive quarterly reports would be helpful. You can continue on with my monthly reports, and if anyone wants to see my monthly reports, they certainly can. But if we could have quarterly reports, that would be helpful.
Okay.
All right, did you, Mr. Mutavarans, as part of the Finance Committee, would you like to also receive monthly
Yes.
reports?
I would like to.
And currently, I'm receiving those in paper. I think if we move to an electronic version, that would be helpful, if possible.
Electronic copy is good. I don't need hard copy. Just one question on the finance, the end of January, tentatively end of January, but if for some reason that you don't have all the costs to enter, is there any way of tracking the costs?
Can you do a draft?
Do you have a separate spreadsheet of tracking these accruals?
We have to talk to obviously Anthony about, but he can probably get you something.
Okay. All right, thanks.
And I'll take it. Thank
Okay,
you.
we can all take a look. So, any other business to come before the Finance Committee?
I'll move to be adjourned.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, we're adjourned. And do we want to, are we executive session still for towing? Or we're bringing recommendations for the adjustment of the RFP?
Those will be discussed in executive session in the council.
Okay, so we'll move that down to after city development planning, before claims.
Very good, which I will call to order right now. The Committee on City Development Planning. A few items here. The first one is the Planning Commission appointments. Mr. Frank, representing the mayor.
Reverend Thompson is a small business owner within the city with deep ties to the community. It's the mayor's recommendation that he be approved for the planning commission.
Any questions, discussion?
I'm happy to move it.
You don't have a second tonight, you're the second.
You're a second.
Yeah.
But again, just to speak on Mr. Thompson, an outstanding individual in the community. Can't think of a better choice, than this individual. He's done a lot for the community, a lot for our youth, a lot for our churches as well, business operator as well. I think it's a great appointment to the Planning Commission, and tell the mayor I certainly support, as I hope the entire council will. So, any other question? We have a motion by Mr. Motivaren, and I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's moving along. The discussion of the Federal Consolidated Plan 2017 Annual Plan, Ms. Mancini is here.
At that time of year, I've got the timetable out and ready for distribution. Should be in your packets. So the RFPs for CDBG, ESG, and home funding went live this morning. They can be found on the website or by contacting our department. And just walking through this quickly, we've got a technical assistance meeting on January 30th. A couple of public hearings that have also been put into the paper today, or not today. They will be in the paper on the next weekend, Sunday and Monday, for 2 public hearings in the community, one at the Bridge Christian Church and another at the Phyllis Lawrence Bridge Library and Literacy Center. And the applications are due to the department by 2 p.m. on Friday, February 17th. So you'll be seeing more of me as we progress through it, but I just wanted to bring it up.
All right, Mr. Motivaren, go ahead.
Are there any changes to the dates this current year? Are the dates similar to last year's?
I moved it up to what, it was a little bit different last year, we were a little bit later in the season.
Okay.
So it's back to what it was for many, many years. So this is actually going to allow us an ample amount of time to do an application review. We've changed the application quite a bit, so we want to make sure that we get into the specifics and be able to really vet applications and their eligibility for HUD funding. We left 2 weeks last time and it was too much for everybody.
Yeah, Ms. Brazel?
So if we've changed the application a considerable amount, I see that we have 2 technical assistance meetings on January 30th. But if they are not able to attend on January 30th, do we have, one-on-one help available?
Yeah, in the application it speaks to scheduling an appointment with us or, by phone, or we can come to you. We do that with quite a lot of people already, so. Yep.
Yeah, and again, to Ms. Brazel's point, the meetings now are mandatory, all right? It's no longer just requesting technical assistance because of the new streamline that her and Terry O'Connor have done, and I commend the both of you folks for doing this. Those of the folks who have applied before, was it 30 pages? And 45, and now we're down to what, 15, 13? Right, so they've done a tremendous job in streamlining the process, the application. Because again, it's so brand new, the technical assistance training is going to be mandatory. And again, as in the past, you're sending all the packets out to those who were funded last year, so they're aware of the new process.
Yes.
In addition to the online and everything else.
Yeah, and anyone who has inquired, we keep a running list throughout the year of anyone who wants it, so.
Yeah, and can you just run, do we have a new timeline as well, right? New funding period.
Yes,
if you can
we're proposing
push on
to
that.
start contracts this year, starting October 1st, and just shifting the whole cycle. It used to be July 1st. As many of you know, we don't receive our funding until usually September, so it's not really helpful to fund anybody in July when we don't have the money to fund them. So we are shifting everybody a quarter. We're actually getting a lot of feedback. Everyone's very pleased with this because it helps everyone and their auditors. So.
All right, so that's brand new as well. Ms. Brazel?
So now that they're mandatory, I have double the concern.
Yes, you did. As did I.
Maybe triple the concern.
Yep.
So you're saying that the technical assistance meetings are mandatory. What if someone cannot attend on January 30th? Both of these are during the workday.
Yes.
On one day.
We already reached out to the group that usually gets funded, and we were told that we usually had one at 2, which is very difficult for people who are trying to rush out, like they usually get out of work at 3 or so. So we were told 3 to 4 would be good, and at the morning session would be good as well. And then in terms of them being mandatory, if people reach out, as I just said, with the one-on-ones with us, that's fine. We just want to make sure that there's no reason for anyone to not be able to understand what's going on in the application. So it's really for their benefit. It's not us to sit there and be like, you didn't come, therefore you can't apply. But it's really meant for, and I actually, Ed called me earlier today with the same concern. If it comes to the fact that I'm getting a lot of feedback that we need another date, we'll throw another date in there. Not a big deal.
And I just think we need to message very strongly that there's other options available to get this training in, because I do not want to see a nonprofit not apply because they can't make the January 30th meeting and they think that's the deal breaker for them.
Yeah, it's spelled out very well in the application.
Okay.
And there was a nice cover letter that was included with it, which is not in this, but again, it's on the website now, you're saying, Jackie? So if you go to the website afterwards, they've done an extraordinary job, and again, we've been doing this for many years, so they've done a good job truly explaining it, and again, their office has been tremendous. Carrie O'Connor has just been new with us, but maybe half a year now, or longer than that.
Yeah.
It's done a great job, taking over for Jeff Fonda, who was like before CDBG was formed, I think. I think it's a good process, and I appreciate it. Karen, you had a question, right?
Just a clarification,
Yeah.
you've spoken with the not-for-profits that are historically receiving these funds, and they're okay with the changing to the October timeframe, and they've
Yes.
budgeted appropriately?
Yes. Yep,
Okay.
everyone was given a heads up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
They've done a good job. All right, any further discussion on it? Again, that was just an informational, just to keep us, and again, those of us who have contacts with the nonprofits or local community agencies, please reach out to them. They're always looking for applications, and funding it is as it is, but you know what? It's a good opportunity for all our folks, so.
Yeah, and we welcome the one-on-ones because really when you come to these technical assistance meetings, if anyone's ever sat in on one, it gets a little confusing. Everyone's asking very specific personal questions, and it's hard to kind of do that in a larger setting. So we welcome one-on-ones if anybody's really confused.
Very good. All right, thank you, and have a good evening. Appreciate it. Thank you. All righty. Is item number 3, is this on the agenda? I don't see a name after it. The renaming of a portion of Nott Street to Rush Street, is that? It is, Mr. Faltico? So you got it there.
So, council's already authorized the city taking title to a number of the new streets in the Mohawk Harper area and then associated with them. This is just a final piece where if you have Erie Boulevard and then you have Nott Street going north towards Rush Street where the casino is a little portion that is named Nott Street that wasn't covered by what happened before. So we had to go through a separate process for that. The clerk's office has advertised it, and now we're getting to a point where we can finally take title to those other roads, and we'd like to, around that time, also change the name formally of that little part of Nott Street. So as you're going through the roundabout, if you're going north of Erie Boulevard, that'll all be Rush Street, south will all be Nott Street.
Oh, very good. Okay, Ms. Brazo?
And just to remind the council, we had a public hearing
On all this.
and-
Correct. Yep, everything was good. All right, so do we need a motion to approve this? Is that what we're saying, Mr. Faltico?
Yes.
So we need a motion, Mr.
So moved.
Mayor? I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, anything else to come before city development planning, before I call a motion to go into executive session? Seeing none,
Mr. Palatico, is everything else on the agenda executive session?
Everything in claims is executive session, and I believe
the
property
next
sales
one?
law.
Yep,
Yes.
yeah. So executive session. All right, so need a motion to go into executive session to discuss items 4 through 6, and I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Executive session, commercial break.